Good evening. Happy Wednesday. I hope it's been a happy day for you. I hope that it's been filled with delightful surprises and some peace of mind and not too much craziness and a sense of well being, of being well. Hello? There's much going on around here tonight in this particular little time slot. It should calm down in a moment or so, but right now, Kat just finished doing an on-air interview for a podcast thing that she does once a month, and literally just finished. Her job was to interview between 6 and 7, and mine was to go on the air at 7. So our little crossover here, I suspect the phone ringing was the people she was interviewing telling her what a great job she did, because in fact she did. And we can tell you more about that later if you want. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Brenda. Glad that you're here, Grandma, again. Brenda got a new member of the family this week. A really, Ronan, did I get that right? A bouncing baby boy, as it were. Hi, Kirk. Glad that you're here. Speaking of bouncing baby boys, how are you? Oh, and Kendra's with us this evening. Good, Kendra. I'm going to at some point talk about practitioners, so I'm glad you're here, and I will point you out at that point. If I don't, just jump in and remind me to do that. Blessings to you, Susan. Glad that you're here. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Dana. Happy Wednesday. We've spent a lot of Wednesdays together over the years, haven't we? A lot of Wednesdays. That's how we met, was over the Wednesday night service. So I don't know if I can do Wednesday without Dana. I don't know that I've ever tried. Nice smiley face, Kirk. Good for you. I love it. I love it. So, how's your day been? How's your mind been? How's your heart been? How has how has all of this been for you? It's an interesting time, isn't it? In that way that they say in the Orient means both opportunity and trouble. Interesting times. So here we are. He is heavenly. You got to be talking about Rona. Yeah. Brenda's new grandma. If you missed my announcement a moment ago, I want to say it again. It's our little Jessica. Our little Jessica. Gosh, I still think of her as our little Jessica. It says something about me. I think that's a sign of advanced age as opposed to advancing age. Um, Jessica is now the mother of 3 young boys, and one of them's brand new. You know, that just right out of the container, new. Um, Post a picture of him if you'd like, Brenda. That would be a fun thing for all of us to be part of it. I've seen a picture of him. He's adorable. He's just adorable. You know, they say all babies are adorable. I'm not sure that's always true, but this one is. He really is. And if Brenda wants to put a picture up, that'd be just great, so everybody could see him. I'm happy to report that Paul is completely well. That our mystery message from last Sunday, was that Sunday? Anyway, was just the telephone dialing itself and leaving us a message on Facebook that frightened us a little bit, but all is well. All is well. So that's good. What else do I need to tell you about right now? I don't know. What do you want to know? Where are we? What's going on? What's going on? Tell me what's going on in your life. How's your week been? How's your assignment to change the world for the better coming along. How is, how's your heart? How's your mind? In these interesting times, it is challenging sometimes, often, and trying to keep your center, trying to keep balanced and positive and in faith can be a challenging thing. So that's why we're here, isn't it? That's why we're here on a Wednesday night. Um, that's why we gather, so that we can stay balanced and centered and aware that we are more than just the circumstances around ourselves. Good. Brenda's going to post a picture if she can figure it out. Just post it on my timeline. Feel free. And then let us know it's there. Because I won't see it right away, I don't think. Kirk? Can you tell Brenda how to do that? Because I can't. There's a couple of times when I've wanted to insert some video or something into one of these talks, and I have no clue how to do that. And I know I have two grown sons, both of whom are in tech, and I should just ask. Trouble is, sometimes they tell me, and I don't really understand everything they've said. I mean, it makes sense in the moment, but it was kind of like geometry class. Well, it's how geometry class was for me. It made perfect sense when I was in the classroom. I would get home, look at the homework, and have no clue how that applied to anything. It all gone. So so tech is kind of like that. If I can figure it out on my own, I'm better. Um, but the language kind of evades me. Good for you, Susan. Susan says, I've had a hard week so far, but I stop, I breathe in that golden mist and move on with the greatest of ease. Isn't that just a remarkable meditation? I love it too. I love it too. And I use it in the same way. If I'm starting to feel overwhelmed or like what's coming at me is big, and you know you can do it while you're smiling. Nobody even knows what you're doing. They just think you took a breath. And if you can at the same time see yourself just filled with that golden mist, just becoming one with it, it changes things. Andrew Harvey said it was an alchemical process, and I believe that. I believe that. There is something in that meditation that does for me what so many other meditations have not quite done. It takes me to that place. So we'll do it periodically, just to remind people. You let me know. Let me know when you want it, and we'll do it. I've got it right on the computer, and it's easy to access. So I can pretty much pull it up at will. I might flump around a little bit for a moment, but I can pull it up at will. So, who else has had a week? It's been pretty cool around here. It really has. I mean, cool as in quiet. Not a whole lot of construction noise, which is a blessing. Um, the animals have been pretty good. Not quite as perfect as I would like them to be. Perfect being healthy, wealthy, and wise. Um, they're getting older, so they're getting pushier. I guess we do, don't we? Oh, Lordy, they're probably a reflection of me, and I just haven't noticed it. Susan says I'm turning golden color, but so much richer inside. Thanks for turning me on to this life changer. It is amazing, isn't it? It is. Speaking of turning golden color, I read someplace the other day. I know where I read it. I know where I read it. I read it in Cac's new book. I was editing at the time. But she talks about um, cumin, which is yellow. I keep wanting to say it's saffron, but I think saffron could do the same thing. So, anyway, what it says in the book is that Cleopatra used to bathe in it because of the warm color that it gave to her skin. So there you go. Maybe you are turning golden color. How great would that be? Would imagine just to so glow, to so be filled with spirit and wonder and joy. Joy being, I think, very important. So filled with all of that that you glow from the inside out and appear golden. I like that. I like gold. Yay! I like the idea. Jennifer's had a week, huh, honey? Let's see what's Kirk saying. Okay, Kirk, we're going to know you're well and happy and all is just fine. And then you just end up having had a week off. Mm, yes. Susan, you should be a minister. You're wonderful. Laura's been gardening. We've been putzing around in the garden here, too. We've created a fairy garden, and it's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's a sweet little place. Lots of little bursts of color everywhere. And I think I told you last week that the fairies turned the nectar in the hummingbird feeder purple. Somebody did. It was red, and then it was purple. And it was like, of course it's purple. What else would it be around this house but purple? But I think the fairies did it. I don't know how else it happened. We've been using the same hummingbird feed, same nectar. It's never turned colors before. We put up the fairy garden, and the next morning the hummingbird food was purple. But I haven't seen a lot of hummingbirds around it, so I went and had a little talk with them this morning and asked them if they really didn't mind. Could I maybe switch it back to the other stuff for a while just to make sure that the hummingbirds aren't frightened off because I miss them when they're not here. So I changed it back to red this morning, and there were 2 hummingbirds here shortly thereafter. So I may win this argument with the fairies. What can I tell you? So, Kirk says, I'm trusting the universe has more in store for me and that this too shall pass. Yes, Kirk. Yes. The universe has great plans for you. I know that. I know that. You have work to do. Everything comes to pass. You know? They used to be one of my favorite phrases when we were in the church on Pass Avenue. It worked. It really worked. But I'm not on Pass Avenue anymore, am I? No, I'm up on a hill in Ventura, overlooking the ocean. It's way out there, but I can see it. It's big, you know. And I want to share with you some thoughts that I've been having this week, since that's probably what you're here for anyway, besides visiting with one another. I love how all of you collectively are creating your own spiritual community right here online with one another. I love it. I just think this is how it's meant to be. So, thank you. Thank you for creating community, for connecting with one another, for being spiritual family, for each other. So, let me get to what I want to talk to you about tonight. And then we'll leave some room for questions or something wonderful at the end. Okay? So, here we go. I don't hate much. I mean, hardly anything at all. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I only yell at the television when it's really wrong. And I don't even hate that. It just irritates me. But there are a few things that really do drive me up the proverbial wall. Things that I can honestly say, if I hate anything, I hate them. One of those things is mouth noises. Snapping gum, lip smacking, slurping sounds. There's actually a name for it. One of my sons found that for me and looked it up because I thought I was just uniquely nuts. It's called misophonia. So I guess I'm sort of off the hook. It's not really a hate. But it drives me crazy. I want to get out of the room. I want to get as far away from it as I possibly can. I overreact. And I hate clutter. I really hate clutter. I like things nice and neat. And I'm a Libra, so they want to be pretty. Clutter makes things unpretty in my book. I did a church growth workshop over a several year period with Robert Schuler's organization. It was absolutely wonderful. He was absolutely wonderful. One of the things they taught us in the very beginning was to not let your platform area be cluttered ever. And apparently Arletta Schuler, Robert's wife, had a thing about exposed wiring. Cable wiring, electrical wiring, whatever, exposed wire. Exposed simply meaning you could see it, not that it was stripped. And she used to just go through and wreak havoc on anyone that hadn't cleared up and hidden away and properly managed cables and wiring. And I thought, why do people think that's funny? I think it makes perfect sense. To this day, I do everything I can to hide wiring, cords, cables, all of that. Clutter, which includes all of that, and then things that are used and not put away, and just too much stuff out. So, with that in mind, imagine my delight when I read in the Daily Word this past Tuesday, June 30th, these words. Just as a home can begin to feel cluttered when filled with belongings that no longer serve a purpose, my inner life can become a shambles of outgrown thoughts and feelings. My mind may feel jumbled when tangled with obsolete beliefs. My heart may feel heavy when clogged with old resentments and hurts. Today, I take inventory of what I think and how I feel, and I release what no longer serves my mind and heart. Gently and compassionately, I release thoughts and beliefs that no longer match my understanding of the truth. I let go of feelings of fear, anger, and bitterness that keep me from knowing the forgiving and comforting love of God. As I release, I create space for new thoughts and feelings that heal and bless me. Gently and compassionately, I release thoughts and beliefs that no longer match my understanding of the truth. So here's a question. You have grown. Yes, I know you have. I know most of you, and I know you have. You have learned, hopefully, and in that your understanding of the truth has expanded, yes? And you have become more than the person who you were. The person who may have collected those thoughts and beliefs. Yet, they are still there. Still, they are affecting your life. Isn't it time to let them go? Isn't it time to clear your mind, your heart, your gut, your beliefs and ideals of the mental atmosphere that was created in the dust and ashes of the past? Isn't it time to sweep out those old beliefs? Of course, in order to do that, we have to be willing to look at them, don't we? And see where perhaps what we believe is getting in the way of what we want. In writing of what he calls the waste products of the mind, don't you love that phrase? The waste products of the mind, Ernest Holmes says, it is necessary that we release all thoughts as well as things that clutter up our lives. We are reminded that there is something resembling the divine in the intelligence and fearlessness of the organs of our body, in the way they take that which is necessary to their sustenance and well-being, and release that which is not needed. If the lungs, he goes on to say, if the lungs hoarded the air they take in, if the heart kept the blood stored within its walls, refusing to circulate, if the stomach retained the food taken in for nourishment, what a condition we would have. But he says the reverse is true, isn't it? The body knows when to let go, when to clear the space, as it were, when to get rid of that which may have served beautifully but no longer serves. It is the mind that sometimes forgets to take care of that little mental housekeeping chore. It has a tendency to hold on, to hoard old thoughts and beliefs, even though they may be obsolete or hazardous to your well-being. Think for a moment of one of those pictures you've seen of the inside of the houses of hoarders. What was once a simple desire to keep a couple of extra crossword puzzles has become stacks and stacks of old newspapers. For years, everything that has come into the house has never left. And what may have been precious, may even still be precious, is hopelessly lost in the jumble of stuff that now fills the walls and lines the halls and overflows into every nook and cranny. Have you ever actually been in one of those houses? I have. It's awful. It's frightening. There is so much accumulated stuff that you can't walk in a straight line from one place to another. Closets overflow with clothes, most of which haven't been worn or even looked at in eons. Every room is filled to overcapacity with things that never belonged in that room in the first place. Access to everything is denied by the accumulated debris, and even with the best of intentions or the greatest of need, you really can't get there from anywhere. Now, imagine your mind equally cluttered. Old ideas piling up on each other, conflicting ideas and stories fighting for space in a mind that is increasingly full, confused, overcrowded, and filled with debris. Debris of past lessons, past relationships, past beliefs. There's little room, if any, for new ideas. Little room for positive thoughts. Most just input gets squished in an already full space and then somehow gets lost in translation. Now, when your physical house becomes cluttered and needs cleaning, there are a few things you can do about it, aren't there? You can do it yourself, which takes some dedication, time, effort, and commitment on your part. Or you can hire someone who knows what they're doing to do it for you. The results, depending on the amount of work to be done, the work ethic of the person doing it, and the skills of the one pushing the broom, the results should be about the same. You can do the same thing with your mental clearing. That is, you can do it yourself. It isn't hard, unless you tell yourself it's going to be hard, in which case, let me suggest that you hire a practitioner. That is, you can go to a practitioner and ask them to help clear the space for you. Ask them to pray for you, or with you, which is what they do. And they are good at it. They are trained to do it. Ask them to pray to clear your mind of those thoughts and beliefs that are standing in your way, cluttering your mind and blocking your path to success in whatever endeavor. And they will do that. It is what they do. When a practitioner works for someone, that prayer, that treatment, declares that the person is free of whatever the challenge may be. Declares that the idea of it even is no longer effective in the mind of the client, and that the client is free of it once and for all time. The practitioner's word, in essence, sweeps the cobwebs away, gets rid of the dust, and removes any obstacle in the mind of the client, which then simply allows divine energy, divine intelligence to do what it does automatically when there is nothing in its way. It allows it to flow, leaving in its cleansing wake solutions and answers and wholeness and beauty and love and peace of mind and all of those other things that are the natural results of being in the flow of the perfection of life when nothing gets in its way. To repeat from the Daily Word, it says, "My mind may feel jumbled when tangled with obsolete beliefs." Well, wouldn't it just? If you're tripping over your old thoughts and your old beliefs, isn't everything going to feel jumbled? It goes on to say, "My heart may feel heavy when clogged with old resentments and hurts." Well, of course your heart feels heavy. Those things weigh us down, far more than we realize. Hurt and resentment get in the way of new relationships, new loves, new people who would surely be part of our current experience if we made room for them in our hearts. But a heart that is filled with resentment or fear has No room for more. Resentment, anger, betrayal, these things are all encompassing. They take up way too much space. These things need to be, must be, cleared away. If we are to live the lives we were born to live, if we are to be happy, loved, loving, accepting, treasured, respected, appreciated, as we are meant to be, these things must be cleared away. How to do it then becomes the great question, doesn't it? I mean, it's easy to say do it. It's easy to go tell somebody to clean their house. And here's what I'd say. Just do it. Pick up the mental broom and start sweeping. Or call a practitioner. If you think that's getting off too easy, let me tell you that it's not necessarily so. You are going to have work to do. You're going to have to help with the sorting. You are the one who will ultimately decide what to keep, what to toss, and what you might just want to pass on to someone where it might actually be useful at some point. But don't keep it if it is no longer useful for you. That's my point. Sometimes the choices aren't easy. But you can and you must make them. If you really want to get on with your life and become all that you dream of becoming, you really must make the choice. Let me refer to the daily word one more time. It says, finally, today I take inventory of what I think and how I feel, and I release what no longer serves my mind and heart. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to take inventory of what you think and how you feel? And most importantly, are you willing to release what no longer serves your mind and heart? If you're not sure what those ideas are, here's a clue. Look at your life. Where it is working, your thoughts are serving you. Where it is not, they are not. It isn't rocket science. It's cause and effect. If you find yourself fighting the idea of giving up something you believe, look at what it is creating in your life and ask yourself if that is what you really want. Or do you just want to hold on to the idea because someone gave it to you? Or because you've carried it around for so long you aren't sure who you'd be without it? If it doesn't serve you, let it go. Again, the daily word. Gently and compassionately, I release thoughts and beliefs that no longer match my understanding of the truth. Most of you understand the truth pretty well. I know you do. Gently and compassionately release. Be gentle with yourself. These ideas served you in some way at some point in your life. They protected you, or they sustained you, or they allowed you to feel safe. Gently and compassionately let them go. Which also entails forgiving yourself. And probably forgiving others. But you know, life is too short to hold on to resentments. On your deathbed, you don't want to say, I wish I could have back all of those years I spent being mad at fill in the blank. Again, the daily word. I let go of feelings of fear, anger, and bitterness that keep me from knowing the forgiving and comforting love of God. As I release, I create space for new thoughts and feelings that heal and bless me. Whatever it is, let it go. Let it be. Set yourself free of it. And we are told that as you forgive, so you will be forgiven. I'm not sure I really like that phrase. It kind of suggests that God's holding something against you until you do what you're supposed to be doing. And I don't believe that there's a God that holds anything against us. But this I do believe. As you forgive, so you free yourself from the emotional entanglements that resentment and anger and bitterness involve. And when you do that, you open a space in your heart. You open a space in your mind where peace and love and serenity may come in and take root and flourish. You create a space for grace, for blessing. And who knows what wonders may move into that space and make all of your dreams come true. It's time to let go. To prepare yourself to accept the multiple blessings that are waiting for you just beyond the confusion, the chaos, and the debris of the past. The multiple blessings that are waiting for your willingness to move into the future cleansed of past misunderstandings, free of resentment and bitterness and sorrow, refreshed and renewed and ready to be blessed beyond your fondest dreams and your highest aspirations. Let's take another quiet minute together. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. And just soft focus for a moment. Turn your attention inward. It's been a busy day. But inside there is a stillness, a preparedness, a waiting. And take a moment just mentally to go through the rooms of your mind. The relationship room, how is it there? Is it clutter-free and filled with love and understanding? Is it bright and beautiful? Does the sun shine in on it? Or perhaps are there some ideas in the relationship room that have fogged up the windows so that you can't see quite as clearly as you once did? You can fix that. In the health room, What are things like there? Just take a peek in, if you will, and look around. Is there room to breathe, room to stretch and grow? Are there things in the room that strengthen you, that heal you, that bring joy to your heart and peace to your mind, so that it allows the body to do what it will do naturally, which is to heal? And what about your workroom, your career room, perhaps your calling room? How is it there? Is it clear and clean, or are things kind of piled up along the side? Is it more crowded, and do you feel more burdened in this room than you would choose? What is your heart calling you to do? How can you make this room beautiful and spacious and life-affirming? How can you make room in it for muses and fairies and those things that inspire you? What can you do to make your work support your life instead of the other way around? One more room to check out. Your temple, your spiritual room, the Holy of Holies. How is it there? How is it there? What can you do to encourage your spiritual growth, to increase your inner peace, to get closer to the spirit you believe in? If there are old ideas that are getting in your way, spiritually speaking, perhaps it is time to let them go. Some rooms just need a light dusting. Others, perhaps, a major overhaul. You'll know. And there will be all of the assistance and all of the power and all of the possibility available to you once you turn your attention to it. And if it feels like it's too big a job, well, that's what practitioners are for. Aren't they, Kendra? We have practitioners among us, and they're good. Be still and know. Be still. And walk through the rooms of your soul and make whatever adjustments are necessary. Trust that you will be given everything you need to turn the debris and the chaos and the dust into stardust. There is work to be done, and surely you are the one to do it. It is well with your soul. We start there and go forward. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen. Oh, let me see what I can find here, too. I'm grateful for Wednesdays as well, folks. I want you to know that. Hey, there are the wits. Hello, hello, hello. Susan, I love you. Oh, you guys are so bright and beautiful. Oh. Yes, Paul, I can raise the volume. I don't know what's going on. Let me know, the rest of you, how the sound is. Um, it seems that some people have it just fine, and others don't. So I don't know what's going on. Can I boost it? Oh, yeah, but then I have to do one of those other things I hate, which is that horrible noise. But hold on. Let's check it. I'll be brave.
We'll pretend it's Big Ben.
Okay, you ready for a big loud noise? Yes, I jump. All right, now I'm talking. I'm talking, and here I am. Is it any better? Yeah, I know, Kendra. When I drop my personal volume, everybody's volume drops. I'm aware of that, and I haven't learned not to do it yet. But I'm working on it. I have little notes to myself. Speak up, which you would not think you'd have to tell me, really. But especially when I get into a prayer or a meditation, I go someplace else and I'm not paying attention. So, bigger note to self. I will work on it. Is this any better? Did it get any better after my loud bang? Is this any better? We pile up enough things. I could just put this right in front of my mouth. Um, oh, I love it. Jennifer and Kirk are casting to their television. So I'm on TV now, too. Wow. I like that. I think I know how to do that. It's another one of those technical things. I had it figured out at one point, and then I didn't do it for a couple of years, but it's in there. It's in there. Yes, yes, you're saying. Is it so it's better? All right. Cat keeps trying to tell me to bring this up. It's just kind of annoying. I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. It's just a little annoying to have this thing right in front of my face. Um, but we're getting there, aren't we? We're getting there. Cat wants to. Okay, Kirk says it's better. Brenda says it's good. Laura says it helps. All right. All right. All right. I will listen to you guys. I will. I will. I will. I actually was using a bigger box Sunday. And then when I went to look for it tonight, I couldn't find it. So it's on a rather substantial notepad. Susan wants to know what we do for the 4th. We stay home and talk to the animals and hope, pray that the neighbors don't set off fireworks. They are forbidden in Ventura and particularly forbidden up here where the fire was because it's still very dry and dangerous. But you know, there's always some kids somewhere, some of them in their 90s, I think, um, who are bound to set off a little bit. So it drives the animals crazy. It just drives them crazy. Our precious boy Kitty goes and hides under the bed and won't come out for 2 days sometimes. He gets so frightened. And the puppies whimper and cry, and Tallulah cries most of the night because people keep setting things off. So I know they're sold in Fillmore. Isn't that insane? So, you know, you drive 12 miles and you can pick stuff up. Cax says we should be good till she puts her hand over the mic. Yes, naughty. Yes. Um, oh, Brenda says they've had the fireworks all week. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
We have two.
Well, but it hasn't been quite as bad. They're not right out in the middle of the street, and they're not great big huge ones. They're down a little ways, so it's you hear the boom, but it's not. And I remember a time, you know, when my kids were growing up, we used to do block parties. Different world. Different world. Sadly, I think sometimes. Anyway, um, what are you all going to do for the 4th? I guess most public exhibitions have been canceled because of social distancing. And, well, it's just interesting to see what people will do in lieu of what we do automatically. Yeah, see, Susan says she and Max will light a few sparklers by the pool and say prayers for everyone. Beautiful. Beautiful. No fire hazard. Doing good in the world. Making a positive difference. Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, we have a thunder jacket for Tallulah too, Brenda. It helps. It helps. She is now on trazodone. Doctor said we needed to do something to help her because she was just crazed. She, something scared her. Pre-fireworks, I think. And she just has been on edge. So we've got her on little bitty pieces of trazodone. And it seems to help. She's a much calmer dog. Yeah, it's 4th of July, barbecue time. Don't have to have fireworks. Don't have to. They're not going to have them in a lot of places, I think. Certainly not around here. So, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the puppies and the kitties, and myself because I'm not mad about loud noises anyway. We used to have a great view out across the ocean of all of the parks in Oxnard and Ventura and whatnot. You just fireworks forever across the horizon. But I suspect most of those are not going to happen this year because people would gather, wouldn't they? And not wear their masks. So, I guess it's about time. Final words. Happy 4th of July. Happy independence from your old thoughts. Happy freedom. Gratitude to those who are protecting us and giving us our freedoms. Particularly right now, gratitude to those first responders who are on the front lines of the COVID war, because it looks like for a lot of them the battle has started back up again. Wear your masks. I know you all are. Wear your masks. Keep social distancing, but not heart distancing. Know that the connection you feel for one another, you can feel for the whole world. Maybe light some sparklers and say some prayers. What a lovely way to celebrate the 4th. I love that, Susan. Thank you. And Susan is sending a big kaboom of love to everyone until Sunday. I love that. Sunday, I'll be speaking again as part of the Unity Ventura service, which is online. We'll post it. And then I'll be back here at noon with a whole new idea. If you go to the Unity Ventura site, some of that might sound kind of familiar to you. But that's okay. Never hurts to hear something more than once, does it? And you get...
There's music.
Oh, there is music. There's music.
Great music.
I'm really kind of excited about... They're excited, so I'm excited about what they're going to do with the music around the talk on Sunday. Yeah. Put out your flags. Wear your masks. Go to church. In your heart. Know that all is well. Because it is. Trust. Have faith. And then do what is yours to do. It's good being with you. I love it. I love you. I love the God we believe in. And I love how healthy and strong and free of any dis-ease that we all are, especially Kirk, who gets a little extra attention tonight because he's waiting for some test results. All is well. Blessings to everyone. Flags and masks. It's the order of the day. I'll see you on Sunday. Good night.